for me, plugin of the week has to be time-based effects are the hardest thing to mask because they're gonna poke out, and with a little bit of compression.
I can affect the mids, I can affect the sides, I can affect.
Reverb's the goat, bro. I don't care who says what, man.
When last
For
did you
me,
use reverb, gents? What is happening, gentlemen? Another week. We're back again for another episode of
yes, sir.
Mixbuss Confidential. My name is ODI, Uncle Odie, and I'm joined by these brothers. Guys, I'm honored to call brothers. So yeah, man, you gents. I mean, introduce yourself, represent yourself. What?
Represent yourself. Russ, our team mixed it when I'm behind. We don't say behind the console these days. They say behind the computer, behind the keyboard.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, our team mixed, and the legend himself.
Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Leroy in the house. What's good?
What's happening? So yeah, man, I think after this, I mean, can we call it a success? I think that it was a successful first episode, pilot episode. I think we were able to just also start working out our kinks and how we're gonna, work through this podcast and just the community and the things that we're trying to build with everyone, So I think that us being here and doing what we are doing, again, it's just to share knowledge because, again, like we said, the name says it all, Mixbuss Confidential. People just want to hold and gatekeep that information when we're trying to break those stereotypes. But yeah, so yeah, gents, what do you got to add there?
Yeah, no, I think we are absolutely trying to create a platform that gets people, particularly in South Africa and I guess Africa at large, just starting to shed the light on, engineers and most of the people who work on the behind the scenes of the music to be seen and known. I think a lot of us enjoy the anonymity, come through with the big words this week. A lot of us enjoy, just being hidden. But I think it's also worth celebrating our trade, celebrating our colleagues, and highlighting the incredible work that they do. So that's why this platform exists. And for it to be a community where we share notes, ideas, we don't pretend to know it all. We want to learn from you as well, and we will learn from you as well. So yeah, I think you summed it up well, Odie. I don't know if Leroy has anything further to add to that.
Nah, you guys are super well spoken. I like the way you guys just
This
do
guy.
everything and put it nicely in the bow and just put it out there.
You see, and this guy is the legend, behind the
Yeah,
balls.
that's why you see, we do the talking, he does the mixing.
Exactly. So yeah, so I think last week we started to, I think we're gonna figure out our weekly segments, our things that we touch on every week, and I think maybe that's even a nice jumping off place.
Already with
Like-
the tough deep dives.
Like something that people might not know that you worked on.
So like it's a well-known song or sort of well-known.
Maybe sort of
People don't know.
maybe sort of well known, or even if it's not necessarily well known, but people that will listen might be like, okay, well, let me go check that out, and then they'll be like, oh snap, like last week we were shocked that that Bruce did younger, so those kind of things.
Least known.
Okay, so I'll start while you think. Mine would be the mixing on Any Minute Now, Casper. That what's that song, Sesfikile by Casper. That was yeah, a song that I guess again back to the credits thing that we spoke about last week, but like yeah, it's that song not many people know, or not many people know that I'm on that record or whatever. So yeah, that song was cool. Again, got the separates. Then I was given a reference, and the reference was very specific. Let me put it that way. The reference was very specific, and I was told to stick to the reference as close as possible. And I received vocals with reverb already, and I was like, I need to try and make this work.
Yo, I don't mind reverb. What I mind is a delay. And if that delay is loud, I
Ooh.
definitely mind that because the best believe the first note is going to be the delay is too loud. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's baked in, man. What am I supposed to do? That's so cool, Odie. And did you interact with Cass at all during this
Yeah, I
process?
did. I was speaking to him. He was the one who's giving me the reference. Like, especially when I say reference, mainly is obviously like a well-known song, industry song, and that was popular at the time. And I guess the song Sesfikile was molded around that song. So it was like, I like the sound of that. I wanted to sound like that. So couple back and forth, especially with the mix, is like, sounds cool, but I need you to sound like that. Because reverbs were, I tried to balance. I was like, okay, cool. Let me try. He's like, no. It needs to. We need to try get back there.
Just a
Yeah.
just a better version of the rough. Elroy,
Exactly.
does that happen a lot in your world? Like, do you get a lot of those like stick to the rough type thing?
I do. It changes from artist to artist. I'll get some artists will send me their rough mix, and that's the reference that I need to follow. And then early in the career, it used to be like I wanted to sound like this international song, and then basically I'm trying to match that. And then as time has progressed, I've gotten few of those kind of requests. It's more of now, can you just stick to the rough mix and just make that better? I'm just trying to think if there's anything. It's nothing else out of the ordinary. And like you said, some songs come in with the effects printed on them already, so you have to either match the reverb or try to match the delay. The delay one, you're right, is quite hard
Yeah.
because getting that one right is almost it's tough because sometimes are they using it in sync or are they using it
Exactly.
with the milliseconds?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
more difficult, sorry, Odie, the more
no.
difficult it is to mask it, it's like time-based effects are the hardest thing to mask because they're gonna poke out. And with a little bit of compression, they're gonna stand out more than they did in the rough. And then yeah, that's just gonna make them go nuts.
Yeah, and I mean the time base. I think I find more often than not, it will be if it's not synced, and it more often not it's more millisecond based, especially the delay, because some oaks won't even tap delay, and then you're like, and then they want to do the delay throw, but it's like a quarter note, but like it's maybe let's call it a triplet quarter note if you want to speak it that way, but because then it's not on, it's off, But obviously maybe they were playing around like, oh, there it is, and then it just didn't work for other parts of the song. But it's like, but then speaking of that though, a plugin that I feel helps with that is the CLA effects because it literally
Mm.
has delay throw. And you just gotta automate the knob and
Mhm.
it does it for you. But yeah.
And it's in time, so it doesn't leave you any room to throw it out of time.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's always the thing. Just yeah, the trauma.
the traumas. Um Speaking of which, what's your gents plugin of the week?
Oh, you got me there.
So
Whilst you're thinking about it,
yeah, whilst thinking about it,
I'll
yeah,
jump in. So I'm working on this album for a band called Native Young. It's a live album. They recorded it. They were on a show in Switzerland, I think, and it's a great show. The crowd is amazing. The recordings are really good, barring some feedback that happened on the night. But that's part of the authenticity of a live album. I've tried to deal with it. I can't. If you guys know how to remove feedback from a live album recording, let me know. Let us know in the comments as well. Um, but Trigger has come to save my life. Trigger by Slate Audio. I think it's Slate Audio now, just to help out the drums, particularly the kick and the snare. It really has. I'm just using the free one, so just even the basic samples that they have on there have really augmented the kick and snare to the point where they are punchy. You can feel it, you can hear it, which was a big thing for the band as well. So yeah, for me, plugin of the week has to be Trigger. I'm gonna buy the full version when the political landscape of the globe stops affecting the rand as much. I'm trying to put that as politically correct as I can. But yeah, as soon as the powers that be calm down
yeah.
and the rand calms down, I think I'll make that jump.
Sure. Now, I mean, Trigger by Slate, there is a, I guess, less inexpensive version by Plugin Alliance. What's it called again? Drum Exchange. I think it's called Drum Exchange by, is it SPL? But it comes with the Plugin
My
Alliance.
word.
Um,
And I've got Plugin Alliance. I've never used that drum
yeah,
exchange.
I think it's the
See?
Drum Exchange literally, and then again, you have the gate, you set the threshold, and everything is very similar to the Trigger.
To Trigger.
Yeah.
Does it come with samples though?
No, but you can add your own. Obviously, you can add your
You'd
own
have to add
samples.
your own.
Yeah, you can add your own samples. I've used it as well for like a live show recording, and then when I got back, realized I realized that the kick direct out, it was not set. It was not active. So when I'm listening to I'm like, where's the kick? So then I had to use a trigger, and then I had to duplicate the snare channel, and then chop where the kick was, and then try trigger it, and then it was a nightmare. It was a
Yo,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was a
Yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah.
It was
Ninja
worse
moves.
when the fills. Yeah, see now to try find where the kick is in the fill. Yes, that's
Shucks.
painful. That's painful.
sounds like fun. Another different kind of fun.
Yeah, Leroy, what's yours? What's your plugin of the week?
My plugin of the week, I'm going to give it to the SSL Dynamic EQ. What's it called again? Just quickly load it here. The funny, using it a lot. Oh yeah, SSL X Dyne EQ. That bad boy right there was my best friend during when I was mixing Younger Chief's album. So I was using it pretty much everywhere after my channel strip. So it was on almost everything. Be it the bass, be it the drums, be it the vocals, be it on the buses. It was all over the show. What I like about it, it's the EQ. I can affect the mids, I can affect the sides, I can affect stereo. You can basically see you can. It's very versatile. Let me put it like that. It worked well. Am I coming through?
Yeah. I was gonna say
Yeah.
how. Like, okay, cool. So obviously you've played with the F3. It's the Pro Q3. Sorry, Pro Q3. You've played with. I'm sure you've played around with the. Have you guys actually played around with the Kirchhoff Plugin Alliance Kirchhoff Dynamic EQ?
No, I
That
don't have that one.
I like that one. Transparent. But would you take the SSL one over any other dynamic EQ?
Slate Digital's Infinity
Oh,
also really
Infinity.
good.
Infinity's not bad. Infinity's
Also
not
really,
bad.
really good.
The way it can get so
Um,
narrow.
yeah.
It's
Also the way you can
insane.
shape the curve from whether you want it to be a nice tapered one or you want to square it up a bit.
Yeah.
I did use it a few times as well, but not a lot of use cases. I think some sessions it was a bit CPU hungry, hence I preferred the SSL one. Um, because it wasn't too it didn't chow too much CPU, so hence I could use it on almost every channel in the mixer. But yeah, that one's really good. I don't know if there's any others available.
Russ, you still on? You still subscribe to Slate, right?
Yeah.
How's the new Infinity 2?
So I haven't used Infinity 2. I've been a FabFilter guy for, I got the license legally
Yes. Hey,
through a
big
friend,
boy.
through a friend, through a friend, through a friend. And ever since then, I just have not used the Slate. The stuff I'll use from Slate is typically, is it VMX, Virtual Mix
Yeah, yeah.
Rack, VMR, sorry,
VMR.
VMR. That's typically, yeah, what I'll use. But I didn't know that the Infinity EQ actually has gone dynamic now, because the version one I think was just a straight up EQ with no dynamic. So the two is dynamic.
Yeah,
Must be.
100%.
So then
Yeah.
what do you think Waves will do in terms of down EQ? Because F6 is, for lack of a better word, whack.
Oh yeah, there was F6 too.
It was
F6.
cool, at the time it was okay, but
Yeah.
instead, like, okay, cool, you've done the AI stuff now, like give us something like, proper, like a something that could
Yeah.
compete with a Pro Q3, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, for Waves, that would be tough. I mean, they'll have to introduce a completely new, unless they do it, upgrade the REQ and make that dynamic.
That would be
That
crazy
would be
though.
interesting.
That
That
would
would
be
be crazy
crazy.
interesting. Yeah.
That would be
Yeah,
crazy. Or even
'cause
that
they can
that
ride though.
H, or even that H EQ that they had.
Yeah.
That could
Oh,
have,
yeah, that used to be my favorite as well.
yeah.
I used to enjoy the MS mixing with that one.
My favorite plugin, or my plugin of the week. We're speaking about delays, but it's the H delay. H delay. H delay. Guys, that delay. I can put it against some other delays. I've used the what's this? There've been a couple that I've used, but I'm like, I keep finding myself going back to the H delay of the sound. I like the sound, especially when you put in the analog, turn the analog knob a bit, and then with the modulation on the plugin, where
Yeah.
you can obviously, and the filters on there as well. I just, yeah, that delay, and then ping ponging on there, and then you do some cool effects in there. I know there are people who shout and go crazy for the Mandy Marroquin delay. Not a fan, but yeah, H delay, 1000%. I like. It's one of my go-to delays.
Have you tried a repeater?
Yes, you
Oh,
see now,
oh,
repeater
yeah,
now.
yeah.
The thing
Now
is,
you're
I don't have
talking.
the slate. I don't have slate anymore, but
Ah, okay.
and then if we're talking space, then I have to talk about what's that slate? What's that slate reverb? No,
Got a
sorry, it's the Fab Filter Proverb. Yes, that Fab Filter reverb. It's crazy.
Pro R.
Pro R. I like Pro R. Man, if I could get that license from a friend.
This friend may visit your inbox soon.
Oh, yeah, but yeah, no, that one is cool though. When last did you guys use the deverb? Actually,
Deverb's the goat, bro. I don't care who says what, man.
when last did
For
you
me,
use
Deverb,
deverb, gents?
bro, Deverb, when you are, if we talk about a Swiss Army knife of delay of reverbs,
Yeah.
man, Deverb is the guy. Because you can be in a sticky situation and Deverb, and the artists just love it. They love that whole preset, and you pop it in during recording, they're like, yeah, that's it.
This is the
You
one.
win. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. She's not system intensive too, so
Mm,
she works well with recordings and latency. So sure, but when last, I guess in a mix, not so much. I mean,
yeah.
unless it comes with reverb,
Yeah. What's
sometimes
your
if it comes with
go-to
reverb.
reverb on your mix for background vocals and for lead?
Mhm.
I'm
Background
assuming that
vocal.
assuming that you have two different verbs for those.
Uh, it might be. I mean, Valhalla Vintage Verb is usually great for leads. And then I'm talking about background vocals. I would typically run them through the same thing, but just EQ it differently. So maybe have like a telephone-ish type EQ on the backgrounds, sort of like cutting off the highs a lot more for the backgrounds. But in terms of what I would use, Verb Suite Classics, Slate.
Also really good.
Verb Three Classics is good. Yo, I
How,
had
how about
mainly
the lustrous
like
plates?
Lustrous Plates too, man. Lustrous Plates is crazy,
oh now
crazy on lead vocals.
that's also CPU intensive.
That's
That's
not crazy. Yeah.
that was CPU intensive.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Do you with your what's this called? So you have a vocal. Do you guys have vocal mix bus or vocal
Mhm,
buses, and
mhm,
then leads and then backings,
mhm.
or like you said, I think last week you have a group and then you send all your vocals to one aux.
Definitely different auxes for different depends. Like if it's one artist, then maybe I'll have a different treatment, which is a different aux for the verses compared to maybe for the hook. Obviously, if it's features, then I'll have different buses for them both. But what I've actually started doing is using a master with each bus. Call me crazy, but I
Interesting.
saw Jason do it. And I was like, let me try it. I saw Jason's template the one time. And
A master or a VCA.
no, a master. So a master
Interesting.
fader for each aux. And I've tried it into my I don't know what it is. Without it, it sounds different. It's probably placebo before people come for me in the comments. But I just notice a difference when you do that. I mean, what's his name? Bob Horn was talking on another podcast recently, and he spoke about how the Pro Tools meters have a sound,
Yeah.
and everyone was like, Bob, you drunk, bro. That's not. But for me, I tried it out, and I can hear a smidgen of a difference, a little bit, but again, it might be placebo.
Uh,
Yourself, Leroy?
this sounds like Pro Tools chats. I work in Logic now, strictly Logic. So I left Pro Tools probably 2017, 2018. So that's the last time I used the Devo. But wait, what was the question again?
So, routing of your
Oh, routing.
yeah
Yes.
your workflows
Yeah,
basically.
I'm on that tip as well. I don't remember when I adopted it, but it was a while. Mainly because if I wanted to get stems, it made my life easier to just print out the master bus, and then I've got the stems ready for mastering, or if I need to send it off to somebody else for further mixing or anything like that. It made my life easy. So that's how that came about for me. But then I also found it also helped with the workflow. So lead vocals will have maybe an artist does has 5 lanes for the one verse type of thing. So I'll put all of those into one little aux track, and then I'll process that as the lead verse. And every artist in the session will have their own master aux channel as well. And then the BVs will all get sent to one. If there's multiple artists, there'll be multiple BV master faders as well. And then all of that goes into one master fader for all of the vocals. So then if I'm printing out the instrumental or just the vocals, I can also just mute a solo. And then also in terms of spreading out the processing, it allows me to then have fewer plugins doing the heavy lifting, or how should I put this? On my individual channels, I'll just do EQ, corrective EQ, taking out the things that don't need to be there. Maybe I put a DS on the individual channel, depending on, because some of the takes, maybe the guy's too close to the mic, I need to put more DSing on it. Other takes is at the right distance, so not every single take needs the de-esser. So I basically split it up like that. And then to get the overall tone and balance, it all goes through one master bus, one nice compressor on there, one nice EQ on there. And then all of that goes to the master. So there's a vocal master bus that takes care of those little master buses. And then after that, it goes to I'll show you in the session, the other master bus.
Fire, fire. Before I answer, I saw Zoom just said running out of time. So before it kicks us, 8 minutes remaining. I think it should be good.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, let me go Logic and Pro Tools. So Logic, yeah, same. What I like about Logic's routing, you just say bus and then it creates the bus for you. But then what I'll do is I'll create VCAs in Logic for instruments, either maybe drums, or I might just essentially like stem mixing. I might do those. I might sometimes break up the leads and BVs, especially if you're working with male and female on the same track, then definitely. But then similarly in Pro Tools, what I like about Pro Tools is that obviously you have to work in Pro Tools. You have to go create, Control Shift N, and then say stereo aux. Have those stereo auxes. And then the way I route my master, actually I want to know how you route yours, Russ. Oh, one of your main mix bus.
Sure.
So I go master fader, that's my mix bus, and then from my and then I create another aux, which I go from the master track, from a master, which is my mix bus, into an aux, stereo aux. And that's where I put in my plugins on my master track, because I found, again, similar things similar to what they were saying about the sound in Pro Tools. And they're like, yeah, there's something about the 32-bit float of running on the master fader, running your plugins in the master fader before it gets to an aux where obviously controls now the main output. So I was like, interesting. Yeah. And then ever since I did that, I was like, this is how I'm going to continue doing it from now on. And I just like that sound, and the plugins just, the music, didn't hit the plugins that much or that hard. That's what I found. And I was like, hey, cool. This does work. I can't remember where I heard it from. Must have been on like Pensada's place, to be fair.
Yeah. Somebody out there. You're absolutely right about it being obviously work to set up these tracks. Pro Tools wants you to have 5 clicks before, well, shortcuts. To be fair, they're shortcuts, but maybe not everyone's a fan of shortcuts. So click, click, click. It's probably 5 clicks to get to an aux track. But I would say my routing is very similar to yours in terms of auxes and then feeding into one main master fader. I haven't tried the thing of then going out of that into a different aux that then is being fed by the master fader. I definitely need to try that, because that, I think that based on, I've also heard the same theory of it's better for you to hit the master fader first and send it off to an aux. Typically, maybe people would do that when they record. If you use analog equipment, you'd have to record the effect or the processing back in.
Exactly.
And that is usually through maybe an aux, and that might have had something to do with that theory. But yeah, similarly, aux, all my auxes go through different masters, like Leroy said, and you as well. And then those go to a different set of auxes. So I've got an aux for the lead that gets a master, and then that goes out to the main sort of aux for vocals, and then that's then sent to the master, which is the mix bus, like you said.
Yeah, I know vibes. I think, okay, as we start to bring it home, what is your guys' mix of the week? And also, just before you answer, to everyone tuning in and watching, we will be having a Spotify playlist with our mixes of the week, so which can work as a double up as a reference for you guys, or yeah. But it's a resource. Use it, don't use it. I mean, and please also share and in the comments what songs you guys listen to.
Yo, mix of the week. Leroy, I'll let you take
I've been
this one.
enjoying Luiso's new song. It's called Higher. The mix in that is pretty dope. Let me see. Oh, I can't check on my phone now to show you who the mixing engineer is. But I found the credits things on the app on the phone. I can't get the credits on the PC or the computer rather.
We'll throw it up there. We'll throw it up there. Who's mixed?
Is that Spotify credits, Leroy?
Apple.
Apple.
Apple, yeah. So if you go on your phone app and you search there under song info, it will say there's a section that says view credits, and then you'll see recorded by, mixed by, produced by, composed by, written by. So everybody's in the mix there.
Higher single.
Yeah, Higher, yeah.
The credits. It was mixed. Rock. Rock was the mixing engineer and mastering engineer, and I think some other guy with a weird name was also a mastering engineer. My song of the week.
I've been jamming that song.
I'm gonna jam it. My song of the week is definitely Goo Goo Dolls Iris mixed by the amazing JJP, Jack Joseph Puig. The guitars and strings on that, just the mid-range for me on that song is something to pay attention to.
Yo, I'm feeling Rhapsody. Please Don't Cry. The album that was, I think, dropped late last year. Leslie Brathwaite on the mix. Love Leslie, man. That guy.
Jeez.
Man, his low end, the vocal treatment.
He's crazy.
Yeah, so Please Don't Cry. The whole album for me is just insane.
No,
Rhapsody.
Okay, cool. No shots, man. Russ, do you want to send us out here, man?
Absolutely. Thanks, guys, for your time and your nuggets as always. It's always such a gas to have these conversations. Let me turn and face the audience. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in this week. We're going to try and push the consistency, right? We're going to try and bring you some new nuggets each week. And as we keep saying, this is a community that we're building, and we're building it for like-minded individuals who are in this audio world, who love and live the world of audio. So whether it's live sound, radio, it's not just about mixing music or mastering music, whatever sphere you're in, post-production, let's cook it up. So this has been Mixbuss Confidential with Uncle Odie, Russ, and Leroy. And don't forget to subscribe, like, tell a friend, and we'll be back again next week.